How long did you spend on this book?
Half of my adult life.
Well, you've been writing it really since you were a child, but...
Right, but no, I mean, I wrote it like, it was 3 times.
Yeah,
But it was never right
yeah.
until the last time. And I think if I'd done it 4, it would have been perfect. But it's like me.
Yeah. What did you want to say with this book?
In the beginning, I didn't want to say much. I just wanted to, say as little as I could. And then at some point, I just thought, Cher, do it or give the money back.
Yeah.
And you've got to do it,
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give information because you could go to Wikipedia. I just wanted to tell stories because I think stories are interesting, but information is not.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a burning desire to do it.
You didn't?
No.
So why did you do it?
Well, I don't know. Like everything I do, I thought, well, this might be fun. This could be, this could be interesting.
That didn't turn out to be right.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it was work, and it wasn't hard to bring up the things, the stories, the accounts of my life. We just had to do it, and it took so long. And also, we were way past the timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like 5 years past the timeline, and they just kept saying, Cher, Cher, Cher.
Where's this book?
Right. But then when they started reading the 3rd time, they were really happy. They were still upset that I was about to miss everything.
Yeah. Is any book ever on time?
I don't know.
Was any part of it hard for you to revisit?
No.
Okay.
It was hard to explain
Yeah.
some things. I agonized over some of the things because people might still not be able to understand some of the things.
Yeah. Like your relationship with Sonny.
Yeah, I mean, people have such a hard time. And like something that bothers me, but I understand it, was the Sonny and Cher show fake? Were you just faking it?
Yeah.
I mean, the time at the end was rough, but we weren't, because we had so much fun together on that show. We had so much fun together, and I felt relieved because I was equal.
Yeah.
But not at home. So at home, I wasn't really happy, but we were working most of the time. When we were working, it was joyous.
Your childhood was a crazy ride. What was it like to go through?
Go through it?
Yeah.
When you're a child, you just think, oh, I don't like this, or
Yeah.
I wish this would stop, or I wish this didn't happen. But also, you're doing it, doing it. It's not like this.
Right.
So a lot of it was hard, and some of it I didn't know.
What do you mean?
I didn't know I was in the orphanage. I didn't know I was in other people's homes.
Yeah.
I mean, I had heard that these 2 women babysat me,
Yeah.
But then my grandmother, one night when I was like 30, came with this lady that I'd heard her name my whole life.
Yeah.
And the lady brought a high chair with Bambi on it. And she said, when you used to live with us, that was your high chair. I was like, what is happening? But I was getting ready to go on stage, and I just said, you know what, save this for after stage. You can be upset then.
Yeah.
And it was the surprise of it and well, what do you mean?
You start the book talking about this photograph of you in the orphanage.
I never saw it.
You never saw the photograph?
My friend Paulette saw it,
Yeah.
but I never saw it because my mom just couldn't get there.
Get there, what do you mean?
She couldn't show me. She didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But then she told me, because I just said, Mom, you got to come off of this. I need to know the information.
Right.
And I'm not going to be upset. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, my dad did it.
It was in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yes. What were we doing there?
Yeah.
Like, why did he pick that place to drop us off?
Yeah. You were how old?
I was a baby. My mom said when I went in, I wasn't standing. And when I was there, I was standing, but like holding on.
Yeah.
And she used to come and visit me like once a week.
And you have no memory of it?
No, I was
Yeah.
a minute old.
Yeah. But you also say all your life you've had a fear of abandonment.
Yes, and I also have a fear of not knowing where I am. It's not exactly a fear, but sometimes I wake up and I don't know where I am. And of course, I picked a job where I don't know where I am most of the time.
Where do you think that comes from?
I think it must be from all of it.
Yeah.
Because I was not living with my mom, I think, until I was 3 and change.
Yeah.
It's like you go, you're dropped off, you don't know the people.
Yeah.
Then you're taken and you're dropped off, or you don't know the people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were friends of my grandmother's, thank God.
Yeah.
Not that my grandmother was so friendly with children, except with me.
Yeah. How do you think that affected your relationships?
I always leave first.
Because you don't want to be left.
Yes.
How early do you think you were conscious of that?
Of what?
Of that fear of being abandoned?
Oh, I don't think it was until later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was when I was young. Except I know this. When my parents used to go out to dinner,
Yeah.
when my mom married my dad, not my real dad, but my dad,
Yeah.
I used to like cry on the floor. And then one time I just thought, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, stop this. They're going to dinner.
Yeah. Interesting. Did you answer your own question?
No, but I had very grown-up concepts even when I was little. Like I was laying there kicking my feet and crying, and I just thought, you know, what are you doing? Stop.
Yeah. Your mom married 7 times?
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. It's the marriages to my dad that screws everything up.
Yeah. Did she actually remarry him?
Yes.
She did. Okay.
It was either 1 or 2 times.
Yeah.
It was like, come on.
Yeah.
It's not working. You guys, it's not a marriage made in heaven.
I had a hard time keeping track of it in the book. You must have had a hard time keeping track of it.
You know, I never really cared that much about the number. It just was like, these are too many times, Mom.
Yeah. You were really close with your mom, though.
Yes. And we fought like crazy.
Yeah.
And I realized afterwards how close we were and how much like her I am and how different.
Yeah. How are you like her?
I have the same sense of humor. I get upset about the same things. It's just, I just feel it,
Yeah.
you know?
But you don't have her temper.
I don't have the temper.
Yeah.
I don't have the family temper. I got out of that.
Mm-hmm. Why were you so close, do you think?
I don't know. It just, also, maybe it was because I didn't get to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I grew up, even though we were different in some ways, we were really uniquely the same. And also, she was a good mother, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, everything that was happening around us was awful, but my mom managed to keep it together. And like she would, like, on your birthdays, she would come up with like great things to do and just out of nowhere, you know? I mean, she would make something fun out of a spatula, a tin tray, and cotton pads. She made a game out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So she was great for holidays, and she was also great for just asking questions, and she gave you real answers, real grown-up answers.
Mm-hmm.
And one time we were driving in the car, and she said, Cher, I don't know how we're going to pay the rent. What do you think? And I was there, and I was like, okay, how is this going to work? How are we going to do this?
Well, you say that you basically had to be a grown-up
Yeah.
from the
From
get-go.
the beginning.
Yeah.
But I was also really childish, so it was just split personality.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of that way.
Yeah.
I'm really childish.
Well, I think at one point you say, what, you're savvy and naive at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot to put on a kid.
No, but where else was it going to go?
Yeah.
Also, I was watching everything, and I was understanding everything. But I mean, in a childish way, but I was still understanding.
Yeah.
And I saw the fights, and I saw the chaos, and then I saw the fun, and I saw the beauty, because everybody around, all these women were knockouts.
Yeah.
And I started with my love of clothing from them.
You get the sense as you read the book that despite all the chaos, your mother led a kind of strangely glamorous life.
Yes. And the no money.
Yeah. Is that the way you felt about it? How did it feel to you?
Oh, I didn't think it was glamorous. I just thought it was the way women were.
Yeah.
I mean, our women. I knew that there were other women that were married, and that, like, our Mary Michaels, who was our landlady, she was like father knows best wife, but with, you know, with some pizzazz.
Yeah.
These women that I was around, they were kind of balls to the wall women who were tough when they weren't with the man, and the moment they got with the man, they got stupid.
Yeah. When your mom keeps marrying, how does your attitude towards marriage get affected by that?
I don't know. I was married twice, and that's enough.
But, I mean, you must have thought, well, this is not working very well.
Well, a couple of times it did. Also, I loved my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I loved him. And they were really good for each other in one way and just so wrong in another way. You know,
Yeah.
they were really in love. They were both beautiful. He was really jealous. My mom was a little bit flirtatious. Never going to do anything, but just she was so beautiful that people flirted with her. But he had this drinking problem and he had this violent temper.
Yeah.
That part was rough
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't know what was going to happen. You had to be kind of on your guard. Also, it made me hypervigilant because there was that one drink and it would just be the end of everything.
Yeah.
It would be funny, 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 click, bad.
Yeah. Oof. In 1962, you meet Sonny
Yes,
in a coffee shop.
yes,
He's wearing a mohair suit
yes,
and a mustard color shirt.
yes, with a white collar and beetle boots, but they were called Cuban.
Yes. And what did you think?
I thought it was like when Tony met Maria. I mean, everybody disappeared,
Yeah.
and it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
But he didn't like me.
And you say it wasn't love at first sight.
It wasn't love at first sight. It was something.
Yeah.
I never felt it before.
Yeah.
He liked my girlfriend. He actually later, when I had to go live with him, he said, you know, you can come and stay with me. And I was like, okay, you know. And he went, no, I don't find you particularly attractive. So I was upset and happy at the same time.
Yeah. You went to live with him because you needed a place to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go home.
You were 16, he was 27.
Yes.
Did that feel strange?
No.
No.
He was kind of childish. He got to be real with me
Yeah.
because I didn't expect anything. I didn't want money. I didn't think about anything, you know.
Yeah.
And all these other women that were his age, they wanted him to be grown up and they
Yeah.
wanted him, you know. And he, like, one day we got a candle and we just watercolored all day long. We was
Yeah.
trying to get it right. And I don't think those ladies wanted to do that.
Yeah. Is he the first person who sort of made you think you could be a singer?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Except my mom.
Yeah.
When I was little, because I thought everyone sang. But Sonny, I was making our bed. We had twin beds. I was making the beds. And I'm singing away, and he puts his head around the corner. And he said, was that you? And I said, yeah. And he said it one more time. I wanted to punch him. I went, yes, yes, it was me.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you can sing. I said, I know. He said, but I mean, you can sing. And I was like, Jesus, will you get off of this?
Well, but you'd been told your voice didn't really fit anywhere.
In high school, I didn't get to high school, but in junior high school, like we did the Mikado, and I just had to be in the chorus because I wasn't any place in the registers.
Your voice was too low to sing with the girls and too,
High to sing with the boys.
yeah.
I'm a contralto.
Yes. So, I mean, initially with Sonny, you were basically like his assistant and his housekeeper.
Yeah, and I was like his pal, and I was just a kid.
Yeah.
And the first time he saw me in a bathing suit, his mouth dropped, and his face was so sad.
You didn't tell him how old you were.
No, how could I? I lied.
Yeah.
I lied to him a few times.
Yeah.
I told him I was 18, and then someone said, you know, I don't think she's 18.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I'm not 18,
Yeah.
but next month is my birthday, which was true, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be 18. And he said, okay. And then I was 17, and my mom told him she was going to put him in jail.
You said there was something special. What was that?
I don't know. It was something. I never felt it afterwards. And I loved him. It wasn't passionate. It was, I just loved him.
Yeah.
And, you know, he could get away with anything, and we were still friends.
Yeah. What did you love about him?
I don't know, he was different than anyone else, and he made me laugh. And we had a dream, and we started to try to find this dream.
Yeah. And he made
I mean,
that.
he didn't have the same dream I had.
Right.
He wanted to be the producer.
Yeah.
And he wanted me to be the artist. I didn't want that. I was
Right.
too frightened.
And he made that dream seem achievable.
Yeah. But I mean, he had tried to be an artist himself.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. I think he just pretended that it was going to be achievable. I'm not sure that he knew it. But then Maybe he did. I don't know with him.
But did his faith make you believe in it?
Yes, even though I thought it was impossible.
Yeah.
He would always propel me, and I would like go kicking and screaming.
Yeah. I want to go to Baby Don't Go because initially that song was just for you.
Right. And then I just said to Son, I went, I don't want to do this. I can't do this. I'm afraid I can't do it. I said, you have to do it with me. He said, oh, Cher. And I said, no, you have to. I can't do it by myself.
Yeah. There was something about the two of you singing together.
Yes. I mean, he had the worst voice. And mine wasn't that much better. I mean, when I listen to those songs, I'm horrified.
Why?
Because, I mean, I didn't really learn how to sing until, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of singers say that, actually. It's funny. But there's something about the differences in your voices, and there's some kind of expression that happens between the two of you in music as well as in comedy.
Right. He was funny, but I was more funny in an obvious way, and he had to find his way. In Sonny and Cher show in particular. I mean, I just went in like, this is fun, these are games, I'm here, I'm happy.
Yeah.
With Son, he just didn't find himself immediately because he never learned script, never knew what the songs were going to be.
Yeah.
And so he would just like crash through it or fall through it, and then we started laughing, and then that was his character.
Yeah. What did you think When the Beat Goes On took off?
I don't know.
Well, your life certainly changed.
Yes. I told you, what belongs to you comes to you.
Yeah. That whole chapter, the beat goes on, and then the period right after it, when all of a sudden it stops. And you've talked in the past, I know, about, everybody thinks you've just been at the top the whole time, but there's been a lot of valleys you've seen. That was a pretty nasty valley you ended up in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't know anything about paying taxes. We didn't know anything about having money. It just happened so quickly, and then it crashed. And then we owed the government $170,000 or
I think it was more than that.
right, and we were borrowing money from our chauffeur.
Really?
Yeah.
To make the film, you kind
He
of...
put money of his own into it,
He did. He came to you and said, we're broke.
Yes.
What did you think?
I can't say it on TV. But no, when we had Chaz, and he said, give me 2 years and we'll be more famous than we ever dreamt of.
Yeah. Did you believe that?
Yes.
Why?
I just did.
Well, he was right.
I know.
You describe how, for the lack of a better word, the shtick developed.
I started it because we were playing all these places and the people didn't really like us. And so I just started to get pissed off. And one night I just said something to the band.
Yeah.
And then they started laughing hysterically. And then another night I said something and Sonny was laughing hysterically. And then I said something and the audience started to laugh. And that's when Son knew there was something there.
Yeah. And you started working on it.
Yeah. If it was funny, we'd keep it in. And I mean, it took a long time to get that material, a long time.
Yeah.
It's like I could kind of be who I was on stage, not so much of.
That's what basically gets you the TV show.
Yes. And Freddie believed in us, Freddie Silverman.
Yeah. I'd almost forgotten that he used to work for CBS because he became such a big deal at ABC later. The show was a hit right away.
It was. People loved it. People loved us.
And you felt that.
Yes. And I didn't even know it because we were just working. We would do the show and then we'd go off and gig and then come back and do the show. And I needed some perfume. And we went to Saks and we walked in and everybody just stopped talking.
Yeah.
This is TV famous.
Yeah. Weirdly, you get this huge success, but Sonny starts to change.
He does. I knew something was wrong when he started smoking cigars. And I was like, what are you doing? And he just said, run along. And then it started to really change. He just started to think of me as a partner that he could tell what to do.
Yeah.
It got to be hard a long time before I left him. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we had Chaz and we had the show and we were working most of the time. And at home, we were, I don't know, he seemed to be really fine with it, but it was because he didn't care that much, I think. He just started not to care.
Not to care about what?
About me.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do what he wanted me to do, and then then not so much.
Yeah. Did you feel that right away?
No, takes me a long time.
Yeah.
Also, he burned my tennis clothes. I never could go anyplace. He had kidney stones, had to go in the hospital, and I went with my friends to the movie, and I thought, oh, thank you, God.
Because he wouldn't let you go out.
No. And not even like to a Tupperware party. I wanted to go to a Tupperware party, and he
Yeah.
said, you don't need to.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. That's not you.
Jealousy?
I don't know. No, he wasn't jealous. He had a million women.
But you didn't know that at the time.
No, of course not.
You caught him once.
Yes, I did. When he was writing the movie.
It was the secretary.
Yep.
What did you say to him?
Well, it was interesting how I saw him because I was asleep and I was really a heavy sleeper, but I woke up and I was really thirsty. So we had a long hallway and all of the rooms, the living room, the dining room, were off the hallway and they were all open. The family room had a big iron gate that had beautiful scrolling iron, and some little palm trees behind it. So you had to be looking into it if you wanted to see somebody. So I'm walking down the thing and I'm barefooted and he didn't hear me. And then I walked into the kitchen and I thought I heard some noise. And then I got my water and I started to walk back and I saw the girl like putting her boots on. You can tell when people are guilty. So I went into my room and I laid down, got into bed, and he came into bed and I went, don't say a word.
Yeah.
Just don't say one word.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up, I went to my mom's.
But you went back to him.
Yeah. He apologized. It'll never happen again. It's never happened, right? And everyone thought I knew.
Yeah.
I really didn't know.
Yeah.
I should have because he wasn't faithful to any of the women he was with.
So this starts to slowly, the personal side of it starts to unravel.
Right.
One of the most moving parts of the book, it's not that you decided to deal with it, but it's almost like you did in a roundabout way.
Well, I have to tell you something. I don't know if this is in the book, but I remember not feeling happy. And I said, son, I don't feel happy. And he just started yelling at me. And he said, do you want me to divorce you? And I was like, well, I'm never telling you anything again.
Yeah. Can you explain why that is, that up on stage, all the other stuff seemed to go away?
Because we had fun with each other. Yeah. On stage, there was no marriage, there was no discord, there was no recent history. And also, he didn't really care that much about me as his wife.
Yeah.
There was no word for our relationship, and you couldn't cut it with a chainsaw.
Yeah, even though you tried.
Yeah, but we went back to being the way that it was when I first moved in with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. I tried in the book to explain it. I did the best that I could, but I don't even know why myself.
Yeah. You end up with the man who this theater is named for.
I just wrote him.
Did you write him? I think you describe him as the most loving boyfriend you ever had.
The sweetest, most thoughtful, most fun. He never had anyone who loved him before.
Yeah.
Never had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Never had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I have a friend.
Yeah.
And then our first night, we told everything. I hadn't told this story to anybody.
He ended up saving you from your contract.
Yes.
He went looking for it.
Yeah. He asked me, what does it say? And I went, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I was a little bit surprised because it went, Sonny owned 95% of the company and his lawyer owned 5%.
Yeah.
And it was called Cher Enterprises, but I owned nothing. And we'd worked together for almost 12 years.
Yeah. You confronted him about it.
Yeah, I did. I asked him this a couple of times because the one thing I couldn't understand was what was the moment that you thought that you should do this or that you could do this? Like, when was the moment that you thought this would be a good idea?
Yeah.
And he said, I always knew you'd leave me. And I said, that's not a reason, And I said, son, how could you do it? I was there by your side working all those nights, all those days, through good, through bad, and how could you do it?
Yeah.
He didn't have an answer. And we were still friends after that. I still went to his house. We still hung out.
But you called CBS and said, kill the show.
No, I didn't say that. What happened was he told them I was making a deal with NBC.
Oh, right.
And I said, don't pick up the option. I promise I have nothing. I wouldn't go to NBC if you paid me.
Yeah.
Because it's in the Valley and I don't like it there. And and also I have loyalty to CBS. It's my home.
Yeah.
And I said, I promise, Freddie, I give you my word of honor.
Yeah.
And he didn't pick it up.
Yeah. But that's how you got out of the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sonny did apologize.
Yes, he did. It wasn't enough, but it was good. It was a first step, but I still couldn't understand, how could you take my money?
Yeah.
Like, when did it seem like a good idea? I was trying to ask it in all kinds of ways because I couldn't fathom it. I was there. I was the one singing I Got You, Babe.
I want to ask you about Greg. A lot of people really had trouble putting the two of you together.
Well, thank God we didn't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what a lot of people thought. I was madly in love with him.
Yeah.
Madly, madly, madly in love with him. And he was so sweet and so gentle and so wonderful. And he was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it in the beginning. I didn't know it till I went down to Macon and he told me. And I called my mom.
Yeah.
And I said, Mom, I don't know what to do. What should I do? And she said, do you love him? And I said, yes. And she said, well, bring him home. I don't know whether my mom was the best person to give, you know, marriage advice to, but I did.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went through a lot with him, but we loved each other. And Chank, who was his best friend, used to call me, okay, Ms. Ullman, okay, Ms. Ullman. He said, at the end, he said, Chooch, you were the one.
But you couldn't make it work.
No. I went through all of it. And then one day I said, I'm so tired of you going to rehab. And he said, but I still keep going. As bad as it could be, it was so amazing. And we got along really well. And he would play the guitar and sing in bed. And he was so beautiful. We just would hang with each other. Also, musicians, if you have a boyfriend that's a musician and you're a musician, there's some sort of a spirit that's kind of beyond being in love. It's just this thing that happens.
And then you end up getting, wait, when you started up the Sonny and Cher show again, were you pregnant then or you had?
No, I was.
It's crazy.
I was pregnant and getting a divorce. The only time it ever happened in the history of TV. I'm guessing they don't like that much. It's not family time.
I mean, it's such a crazy idea.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what to do, and CBS wanted us to come back, and I wanted us to come back, and after we'd signed the papers, I told Sonny. I said, son, I'm pregnant. And he said what he used to say when he was exasperated with me, and he'd go, she's Cher. and I said, I'm sorry. And then we did it, and we were having a blast. People didn't like it, you know. I mean, they liked it, but we weren't married anymore, and that they didn't like that. And that I was married to Gregory. Oh my God, people hated that.
Yeah.
People hated us being together.
Yeah.
His people hated it. My people hated it.
And you knew it.
Yeah.
In the middle of the whole contract thing, you reach out to Lucille Ball and ask her for her advice?
Yeah, I said, Luce, you're the only one that has been in this situation. And tell me what? And she said, him, you're the one with the talent.
Kind of sums it up.
And that's Lucy, if you know her.
What little I know, it fits. So much of the sort of the core of this book is you trying to get control of your life. Did you end up doing that?
Pretty much. The truth was, it was not a good time for women.
Yeah.
It was not a good time for female artists at all. I never got to choose my songs. I would just go into the studio, do whatever you do, and then leave. Not different than when I was a background singer, and they would say, we would go in there, we would do what we had to do, fix the song, work on the song, put it down, and then it's like, okay, girls, run along. You know, there wasn't much getting control. And it took me a long, long time. And even now, I make blunders.
Well, doesn't everybody?
I've been in the business too long, and I'm too old. I shouldn't be making any blunders, but I do, so whatever.
Well, we're human. You make blunders.
Also, I'm very trusting. I shouldn't be.
You mentioned you got another album you want to make.
Yes.
When are you going to do that?
After I get rid of this book. No, because talking is the enemy of singing.
Yeah, you can't be singing if you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, talking is harder on your voice than singing.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
Okay. It's not your fault. It's the publishers.
So when are you going to get to the album?
As soon as I'm finished with this.
Yeah, okay.